advice would your old boss, Ronald Reagan, give you if he were here right now?
Well, Ronald Reagan, tell me. You know, I was kind of a doubter about Reagan when I first got on the scene because I was this flaming moderate. And when Ronald Reagan nominated Gerald Ford for President of the United States after having just narrowly lost him in '96, he unified that party in one speech to Kansas City. And he sent this message of getting along. And I think he would encourage me to do that. You know, the partisan bickering that he experienced when he got to Washington, he ended. Just invited the Speaker of the House, Tip O'Neill, a liberal Democrat, over right off the bat, and they formed this friendship. They got things done. And I think Ronald Reagan's advice to me would be, Fred, get to the Democrats, get to the Republicans, let's bring this Congress together, let's bring this country together. And really, that is my main reason for running for president. I want to be that voice in the primaries, and if I'm lucky enough to be the nominee and really to be this man who brings this country together. Because otherwise, we're very much for us.
It's funny that you mentioned Tip O'Neill. President Reagan typically used to always joke they were friends after 5 p.m. But at some point, Republicans and Democrats stopped being friends after 5 p.m. People seem, a lot of Americans, and I think a lot of elected officials seem concerned with how divided and how bitter we are in our partisanship. Is there an easy solution, or is it just it's going to take a long time to unravel all the sort of hostility and rivalries that we built there?
You know, if we had any holes on the floor of the House like we did in the Senate, you know, if you go back in history, this is not that new. We've always had, very, strong personalities, put it that way, and, bitter discussions, but, like Tip O'Neill said, at 5 o'clock, you shake hands and you go over a beer or something. I am an eternal optimist. I have great faith in this country. One of the things I like to look at to remind myself of that is that classic YouTube video from September 11th, 2001. Everyone goes to YouTube and look at that. It's about half the members of the House and Senate came to the steps of the Capitol. The Pentagon was still burning over the shoulder. There's that tremendous uneasiness. It was the day our nation was under attack, and yet all these members came together, and it's awkward, and just spontaneously saying, "God bless America." And there's some awkward hugs and awkward hand-holding and everything, but boy, there's overriding patriotism, love of country, just dismisses all the partisan bickering. And I think it was Brett Hume who was kind of narrating over the one version I saw. He was saying, if you would have predicted this a week ago with the bitter fights going on in the Congress, we would have never, ever believed it. But, that again, that was, 11 years ago, 10 years ago, that hasn't changed that much. We need to remember the core values of this country. This great freedom, this great opportunity we have, how lucky we are to be in this country. I just made a commercial on my website. You go to fredkarger.com. It's called American Spirit, and it puts me into that last Google Fox debate to show what I would be like. I have been battling to get in these debates because I think we need to have a little differing opinion in the debates. A lot of the debaters all think alike, and the Republican Party is diverse. We need to talk about different points of view, I think, and have them represented. And, look at that. I'm talking about bringing back this American spirit, this optimism. We need to lift the spirit of this country. And, I was a Hillary Clinton supporter as a Republican. I was a maxed out donor to her. I was very unhappy with the Republican Party. I didn't believe it, but I did contribute to her and support her. When Obama was the nominee, I kind of watched to see. I still didn't vote for him, but when he was elected, then I felt, well, maybe this guy has what Ronald Reagan had, which is that ability to inspire this nation. Well, I thought he did, and I was completely wrong. Something happened the day he was elected, and that great optimism and spirit that he brought to his campaign seemed to dissipate. And I guess when you're elected president, that will change you. But, he has not brought that back to this country. He is, seems depressed to me. He kind of up and down. I know during his campaign in the books they talked about his mood swings. And, he'd get kind of, distant and not talk and things, when things were going well. And I sense that is happening in his administration. And it's tough, I understand. Being president, I know presidents, it's not an easy job. But
That brings me to my next question, which is from Maria in Illinois, DeKalb, Illinois, excuse me. We understand your social views, but what about your economic plans differ from your Republican peers? Because many of their plans sound very similar economically.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the 999 plan, and then, the other extreme is Romney's 59-page plan. I am releasing a new commercial, and I will be releasing my economic plans. I've been talking about them. I'm one of these instant gratification guys. I think a 59-page plan that, may or may not pass in many years is not what we need. We need a quick fix for this economy. So I just returned a few months ago, actually, from the Clinton Global Initiative America in Chicago, which was all on economics. And I heard from everybody, and I actually got to meet a lot of people. I've met with a lot of economic experts. What I want to do is to take, there are now 3.1 million jobs in this country that are unfilled. And I know that's surprising to a lot of people. It was to me. They're out there, the skills are not matching the jobs. So I want to give an instant tax credit to people. So if they qualify for a job and are hired, they can move from, say, Louisiana to Manchester, New Hampshire to fill that job. So let's help them with those expenses. Let's bring back the $1.1 trillion that is overseas and overseas profits of corporations. Let's give a tax holiday to those corporations. Let's bring that money back on the condition that a certain portion of that be used for microloans through our SBA, our Small Business Administration, to help individuals start up new companies. And I've been trying to motivate people to do that if you're out of work. Start up your own, dog walking service, or just, bake some goods, or do something to bring some income in. Don't sit around and feel sorry for yourself, because you have that ability to lift yourself up. And I want to do things like that to empower Americans. I think it's important that we have government there to help, but we give somebody, abilities to do it unfettered without all the government restrictions. And I'm going to be having an economic plan beyond my website at fredkarger.com, and I'm going to go into a lot of detail on how to turn this economy around now.
My next question is from Albert in New Jersey. It says, what does it say about our political process when only 8 to 9 candidates are allowed airtime, regardless of how many lesser-known candidates, of lesser-known candidates' qualifications? In other words, why is it that basically 8 or 9 people are allowed to get public access to run for president when there are a larger number of very, very qualified people who are trying to run as well? What does that say about our political system?
Well, I understand why we are limited in the debate. We couldn't have 30 people on a stage in 90 or 120 minutes. However, that's a great question. And, the way this particular election year has been set up, it is the 8 general candidates that are featured in the debates for a variety of reasons. And then there are 4 of us, now 3 of us, who are kind of the second tier. One just dropped out, Thaddeus McConnell, a sitting member of Congress. I actually am quite honored to be included in that second tier, you might call it, with former Governor Gary Johnson of New Mexico, former Governor Buddy Roemer of Louisiana, who's also served in Congress. So the fact that as a first-time candidate I'm there, but I've been at this a long time. I've been, getting some interest and getting name identification as a result of it. So in these early polls that came out, I was ahead of even some of the people. I was tied with Newt Gingrich, who's been around for 25 years. And the public is looking for some new people, and that's why Herman Cain has been so successful. It's this outsider, and I've kind of had that same campaign strategy. But the networks have been the deciders of who gets in these debates, and they're supposed to have what's called pre-established objective criteria. In other words, here's the rule, here are the rules to let everyone in the debate. Well, what's happened, I think, and I'm not alone, is that they decided, here are the 8 people we want. Let's figure out our objective criteria to get those 8 people in. And I've argued repeatedly, what's the difference between 8 or 11? Let's let everyone of the serious candidates on that stage. And it's now impacting the election, because beyond that, the Florida Republican Party just yesterday determined that their ballot would only include those 9 people from that last debate. So, it leaves Buddy Roemer and myself And I think that is grossly unfair. So not only are they influencing the public's right to know, but now the public's right to vote.